Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lisa, Best Life Lee. Today I'm going to be doing a couple of my signature dishes for the Thanksgiving Day holiday. One of my subscribers, Annette, hi Annette, she asked if I would consider doing one of my signature dishes, and so I was thinking about that, and I thought, you know, there's a few things obviously that I make, but it's Thanksgiving, so I figured I would make my apple pie recipe. And also because I recently did a video showing the cranberry bogs in my neighborhood, in my area, I figured I would make my cranberry sauce. My grandmother always made her own cranberry sauce, so I'm going to make mine, which I do too. And this is from Deacon's Farms, which is actually a cranberry bog in Carver, where I showed you the bog. So it's kind of neat, you know, these are very local and I got them in my grocery store. So anyway, I'm going to show you how I make it. This apple pie is actually a recipe that was handed down to my mother from my dad's mom. So her mother-in-law handed it down to her, and she handed it down to me, and I have given it to both my son and my daughter on a really neat cutting board. I had it all engraved with the recipe, and that I got from Etsy. It was a really nice gift. I gave it to them last Christmas. So if you have a family heirloom recipe that you want to hand down to your kids, or, you know, nieces or nephews, something that's in the family, that makes a really great gift. But anyway, so I'm going to get started. Now I don't make my own crust for my apple pie. I use the Pillsbury crust. So what I do is I take it out and let it come to room temperature before I try to put it in my pie plate. So, because if it's cold, you really can't work with the dough that good. So I let it come to room temperature. And then the kind of apples that I use, that my mom said to use, so I never veer from the recipe, is I use Cortland apples. And I really pile up my apples in my pie. So I use about 9 apples in my pie. So I am going to do my pie first, get that in the oven, and then I will work on the cranberry sauce. So yeah, if you want to see how I make my signature dishes, then just keep on watching. All right, now I always take a cookie sheet and put some aluminum foil on it, because the pie, when it cooks, some of it is going to ooze out when it gets all juicy and moist. So you want to make sure you don't let that apple pie drip, the filling drip into your oven while it's cooking. So I always put my pie plate on to this cookie sheet. And my pie plate, do you guys remember Princess House, Crystal? I remember I was probably in my 20s when that used to be all the rage, and we would have Princess House home parties. Love this stuff. But anyway, this is the pie plate that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to set that aside for now. And I have my dough coming up to room temperature. Now I'm going to brush the pie with an egg white. So I'm going to get my egg white in my little dish. Alright, so now I am going to fill the pie with 2/3 cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that mixture into my little cup so that I can pour it over my apples once I get them in my pie. Okay, so 2/3 cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon ground nutmeg, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then what I do is I just mix it together in this measuring cup so that it's all ready to go and it's all incorporated. All right, so that looks good. Got that for after. All right, now what takes the longest here is peeling your apples. So I have a nice big bowl so that I can just peel them into here, and then I'm going to cut them right into my pie plate. So I'm going to bring the camera down so you can just kind of see that process. Now I don't put anything down on the bottom of the pie plate, like I don't spray it with anything, or I just put my crust in there. You know, and I'm not embarrassed about using a boxed pie crust. I mean, if you can make anything easier for yourself, especially around the holidays when we're so busy as it is. So I just kind of push it around, making like a little rim around the edges, and push the crust, you know, up against the edge of the plate so that I'm getting all the room for the apples. And, you know, making it'll look pretty, you know, when I put the top on and crimp the edges together. So I just, you know, have that like that. I'll just poke a couple of little tiny holes in the bottom. And then I'm using a paring knife to peel my apples. And whenever I make anything that I used to make years ago, or, you know, when I first started cooking my first Thanksgivings or making this apple pie, it brings back memories. I remember when I was making, you know, my grandmother was with me and I was making this, and, you know, she would say things like, "You're peeling away half the apple," and I'd be like, "No, I'm not." And she'd say, "Yes, you are," and I was, but it's like those fun memories come back. And you know, it's so nice to be able to cook something that's your family cooked and that you had as a child. Although I never would have touched apple pie as a child. I was very, very finicky. And then I just cut them and, you know, place them into the pie plate. And you'll see, I'll speed this section up and you will see when I get to the end and they're all piled up nice and high. And I'm just kind of slicing the apple into nice chunks. I just go all around. All right, so I piled up, you know, my apples into my pie, and I did use more than 9. These were kind of small, these Cortland apples, so I probably used about 11. So now what you do is you take your cinnamon, sugar, nutmeg, and salt mixture, and you just pour it all over the apples, trying to evenly distribute it amongst all the apples. I think I'll bring you in nice and close so you can see all that nice sugar on there. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put 3 pats of butter along the top here. And I guess I have about 2 tablespoons of butter here. And I'm just gonna separate this into 3. Three even little pats. And these might be more than a pat to some, but to me, it's a perfect pat. So now I just put them around the top of the pie here. Okay, and that will all melt down into this scrumptious pie. So now I'm gonna put the top of my pie crust. It's nice, it's been nice room temperature. Okay. to get it all on there. Nice. Right, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a fork and I'm just gonna go around the edges and just crimp it down and give it a nice little edge. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it 4 little slits in the top. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my egg white, I'm going to give it a little bit of a, and I'm going to brush that on the top. And what that does is it gives it a nice little shine. Okay, I'm also going to sprinkle it a little bit with sugar. Just going to take a tiny little bit of sugar, like a pinch, and just kind of sprinkle it on the edge, on the top of the pie. I don't remember if I told you that I had the oven preheating at 425. So I'm going to put it in the oven for 40 minutes and it will come out looking fabulous. For the cranberry sauce, I'm going to use 3 cups of fresh cranberries in one package. This says 12 ounces, I believe. Yeah, 12 ounces will be 3 cups. So I want to make sure that I wash these and make sure I take out all the stems. Sometimes there are stems in here, you want to take those out. And even if there are some white ones in here, it's okay. Just leave them in. They're not gonna do anything to your cranberry sauce. So I'm just gonna rinse these all off. All right, so while those are kind of draining, I'll just tell you what is in the cranberry sauce. So to make the cranberry sauce, it is 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of OJ, orange juice, sorry, 1 tablespoon of orange zest, 1 cinnamon stick, and just a pinch of salt. The pinch of salt will kind of take that tartness down even a little bit more. So what you do is you get your ingredients into a saucepan, you bring it to a boil, and you keep stirring it until you get the consistency that you want for your cranberry sauce. Those cranberries will pop and get, so some people like it really, really like full of berries and they can stop when they see that. I like mine. My family really goes for the canned cranberry sauce because they don't like the fresh cranberries. They don't like, but when I do cook it way down, they love it. And you got to keep stirring it till you get that consistency. So I'm going to take you over to the stove and show you the process, and you can see exactly how it comes out. It's not hard. It's very, very simple. It's just a matter of working the cranberry sauce to get it to that thickness and that consistency that you like. Alright, so you can see it's a perfect consistency for cranberry sauce, and I'm just going to let that cool for 15 minutes and then I will place it in my bowl and put it in the fridge. Alright guys, so I'm just going to let my cranberry sauce cool. My pie has about 4 minutes left, so I'm going to be taking that out pretty soon to cool. I will show you what that looks like when I get it onto my cooling rack. I'm just going to show you what the finished products look like. If you have a signature dish that you make every year around the holidays, I hope that you will share that with us. Share it in the comments below. I'll bring you over so you can see what I mean about the little, how it bubbles over. And there is my mom's apple pie. I'm just gonna put it on my little cooler rack here. I'm gonna take it off of the aluminum foil cookie sheet and we're gonna let it cool. And you want to be careful too, you don't want to like tip it because then all that juice will fall out as well. So let me show you. Alright, I wish you could smell this. It looks scrumptious. So that is the apple pie. So I'm making this all for a get-together at my son and daughter-in-law's house tomorrow. So I'm bringing the pie, I'm bringing the cranberry sauce, and I'm going to be hanging out with my family and with my grandson. I can't wait. So yeah, so I make it the day before. Obviously you want the cranberry sauce to be in the fridge for, you know, at least 2 hours before you serve it, but it's best overnight, because then it will taste even better the next day. And the pie, typically I would make that in the morning and bring it warm, but I'm making it today and it will be just as good tomorrow, and we will just heat it up in the microwave. So yeah, and so I'll show you when I put my cranberry sauce into my container. It's not quite ready to, it's not quite cool enough yet, but as soon as it is, I'm going to put it in the container and get it in the fridge. Alright guys, so I'm ready to put my cranberry sauce into my container, and this is the cute little cranberry sauce bowl that I got from Spruce Decor when I was in Ohio with the 2 orchids, and it looks like a cranberry sauce can. So cute. So I'm just going to scoop this in. This is what I'm going to use to put it in the fridge and what I'm going to use to transport it to my son and daughter-in-law's house tomorrow. Okay, so doesn't that look beautiful? I don't want to tip it too much, but it looks so beautiful. I wish you could smell this. It smells like Thanksgiving. So I'm just gonna give this a little bit of a taste. I have a little bit here that didn't fit, and I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a taste because why not, right? You know, a little bit of a tartness, but but sweet and tart, and the salt takes away that bitter tang. This is perfect. I will take some pictures of it tomorrow when it's on the table. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks Annette for asking me to do this type of video. I really appreciate that. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, welcome. I hope that you will consider subscribing. I hope that you will hit that like button, and I hope that you will come back. So take care everybody. Bye for now.